Hello and welcome to another edition of Miss Height Goes Through Math Homework. So for today's, we're going to do Chapter 4s for Math 2, number 28 through number 33, I think is what I have in mind. And again, I pulled up all the hints and the answers that the CPM website actually gives you, so you can see, or we can talk about the hints and the answers, which is sometimes all you guys really need to do these. So for number 28, it says factor the following expressions if possible. So I've already told my classes this. So from now on, when it's looking for the product, right, of the dimensions of your area model, it will just say factor instead. So please don't be confused. You're still finding the product at the end of your answer. Okay, so for the first one, A, it gives you a hint. Use a generic rectangle and a diamond to solve it. So it sets it up for you. It has the k squared here, has the 20 there, and then your diagonal, right? Your product of your diagonal ends up going right over here, and then the middle term, negative k, is going to end up being on the sum part down at the bottom. And then what two numbers give you a negative 12 when you add them up, but when you multiply them give you a positive 20, and sure enough you have negative 2 and negative 10, so you put those factors in and you end up with your product. So you have negative 2, you have a k, you have a k, and you have a negative 10. So this should actually be what your answer is. So you actually need to write the product out. Don't just stop right here, because you're almost done, but you didn't really answer the question. So your product, k minus 2 times k minus 10. Okay, this is the end goal that you need to get to. Okay, so this is for all of them, A, B, C, and D. So you're going to need to do the same thing for B. Set up an area model in a diamond. C, set up an area model in a diamond. And then D, set up an area model in a diamond. So please remember, it does say if possible. So if you really can't find any factors for your diagonals, then you can't, but you got to try a little harder. Okay. And then the last one, I just want to quickly set this up for you on the diamond and on the area model, because I want to make sure you understand where what goes what. It says, for a hint, insert 0 times m between the 9m squared and the negative 1. So it would look like, okay, 9m squared plus 0m minus 1, right? Now you can actually do your area model and your diamond if you need to. And then you have 9m squared, you have negative 1, and multiply together give you 9m squared, and your middle term is 0m. So what two numbers, when you multiply them together, give you negative 9, but when you add them up together, you get 0, right? So I can think of two, so you have negative 3 and positive 3. Oopsie, forgot the m. There's the m. Okay, so that would go negative 3m here, and we go 3m there, and then last thing is you need your products on the side, right? And then as a result, write up your product. Okay, so that's part D. And then part E says expressions part A through C. What makes each of them a quadratic? Justify responses, and your hint is what is the highest power? So what's the highest exponent, right, of the variable in each of the problems? Well, that's what makes them a quadratic. So look at each of the ones that are up here, A, B, C, and D. What's the highest exponent? And then that's your quadratic. Okay. All right, so that was 28. So if you need to pause because you need to finish up 28, please do so now. And then we're going to get started on 29 in a second. Oh boy, this is like an essay right here. Let's see, 4-29. Salvatore has a hot dog stand. Oh, it's got to be a hot dog stand. 58 meters from the base of the Space Needle in Seattle. He prefers to work in the shade and knows that he can calculate his hot dog stand, or when his hot dog stand will be in the shade if he knows the height of the Space Needle. To measure its height, Salvatore stands at the hot dog stand, gets out his clinometer, look, the thing that you use to measure the height of the gym, and measures the angle to the top of the Space Needle to be 80 degrees. Salvatore's eyes are 100 or 1.5 meters above the ground, assuming that the ground is level between the hot dog stand and the Space Needle. So, right, you've got a flat surface. How tall is the Space Needle? Sketch a diagram to help visualize the problem. Okay, well, I think this is what the Space Needle looks like. It's like this weird little thing going on. And then here's this little hot dog. I love these problems because I get to draw. Here's this little hot dog stand. It's got a little umbrella going on, right? That's pretty good, I'm not going to lie. And then he says, okay, he measured, he is 1.5 meters off the ground. Okay, so we're going to zoom in really quickly. He is 1.5 meters off the ground. Right. So let's just say he comes up to the hot dog stand, right? 1.5 meters off the ground. And then he looks up and to the top of the Space Needle, and he knows it's going to be at an 80-degree incline. And the question is, how tall is the Space Needle? Okay, well, if you can, you should see the beginnings of your triangle taking place. Okay, the easiest thing I can tell you is solve for this part, right? And then you should definitely know that this is also going to be 1.5 meters off the ground, and you need to set up a tangent ratio to solve for x, right? And he is, how far away is he from the base? Ooh, he is standing 58 meters from the base of the Space Needle. You need a second information on the triangle. You can't just solve it with 1.5 and x. So if he stands 58 meters away, okay, so your triangle is somewhere over here. There it is. All right, so you're going to find change in y over change in x. Please look at your learning log, look through your notes to find out what the variable is, x, and then don't forget to add it to the 1.5 meters. And please make sure your answer actually has meters on it, because how tall is the Space Needle? That's a unit of measurement. Okay. All right, so those are your hints. Use the tangent ratio for the variable vertical distance, and the top of the lineal sketch a diagram. Here's a diagram. Okay, I'm really proud of my hot dog stand, by the way. Examine the triangles at the right, solve for x. Okay, if it's kind of hard for you to see, I'm going to color code these really quickly. This is the same, this is the same. Okay, this one has 2, this one has 2, and then let's use that looks red, so let's use green. And this is 3, and this is 3. Okay, so please set up a proportion. It actually does say that. So it says on the first step, decide if the triangles are similar, and they are. You have to prove that the two triangles are similar before you start making a proportion. You cannot solve for x, find a scale factor, and then say that the triangles are similar by side angle side. That's not why they're similar. The only pieces of information that you have here that you know are concrete is the fact that all three angles are equal. So they are similar because of angle-angle similarity, okay? Not because of side angle side. Just because the sides are labeled and an angle in between them, that doesn't make it similar until you know for a fact what x is. Okay, decide which sides are in the triangle correspond. Okay, I kind of did that so you can see. X plus 5 is in between the purple and the orange. 5 is in between the purple and the orange, right? As far as I can tell. And then write a proportion, null equation, and solve for x. Okay, well, it just kind of depends on which way you want to set it up. You have to use some sort of a setup. Something over something equals something over something. Okay, so if you want to go from x plus 5 over 5 equals 10 over 4, or you can do x plus 5 over 10 equals 5 over 4. Whichever way you go, please don't forget to actually put parentheses around the x plus 5 because you will have to distribute. Okay? And then you should get an answer of x equals... Actually, I should probably look that up. Your x is going to equal... What did I have? Oh, that was last night's homework. 7.5. So if you are doing it correctly, you should get 7.5. Okay? All right, so that was 29. So pause here if you need to go back to 29. I'm going to start 31 really quickly. I think this might be a really long video, but maybe not. All right, you're feeling impulsive, so you try to have the owner of a pet store randomly pick a fish for your aquarium at home. There's an aquarium for you to pick from. A tank at the pet stores contains 9 spotted guppies, 4 red barbs, 10 red tetras, and 7 golden platis. I'm pretty sure that's platis. What's the probability expressed as a percent of getting a red fish from this tank? Okay, well, how many red fish are in the tank? Well, let's see. You have 10 red. You have 14 red, right? So total is, okay, 14 red fish. I'm assuming. Unless I get this wrong. I should probably look that up. Oh, 10. Oh my goodness. 24. Duh. That's felt wrong somehow. Okay, and then how many total fish in the tank? 10 red fish. Total, right? So part over whole. Total fish are, I don't know, whatever it is. So it actually shows you in step 1. 10 plus 14. Red fish, 9, 14, 10, and 7, all the way to total. So add that up, and then divide the top by the bottom. You should get your percentage. Okay, that should be easy. B will be a little bit difficult, and I understand B. In a different tank that contains only golden platis, the probability of getting a female fish is 0.3 or 30%. There are 18 female fish in the tank. How many total fish are there in the whole tank? Well, 30%, I'm hoping you realize, is just 30 out of 100, right? Well, if you have 18 of the females, how many total? Okay, and then you can just sit there and cross multiply and find your answer for the total number of fish in the tank. Okay, all right, 32 should be pretty easy. I don't foresee any issues with this. There's answers up there for you. Okay, so if you just want to look at it, the answers, go for it, but everybody should know how to do diamond problems by now. If you don't, please see me during tutoring after school, and we could talk about what you need to do. Okay, all right, and then the last one, 33, should be pretty easy once you recognize something very, very specific. It says distributing the negative sign first makes the problem easier to solve. That's your first hint. Well, when you're looking at it, I don't really like the way that you do this, because it's like, okay, distribute the negative sign. As far as I know, we distribute numbers, not really negative signs. So I always have my kids put a -1 in front, because technically you have a -1. And then you can distribute to your heart's content. You're going to multiply -1 by 3. You're going to multiply -1 by 5. You're going to multiply -1 by 2. I'm sorry, -2. And actually get an answer. Let's see, it should be 3x squared minus 2x squared plus 4 minus 3x to the third minus 5x squared plus 2, right? I'm not distributing a negative sign. I'm distributing a -1. I don't really like the way it says that. And then gather like terms. Okay, match up your variables, the ones that they're supposed to go together. There's an x squared. I'm sorry, x to the third. Why did anyone stop me? There you go. X to the third, negative x to the third, right? You have a negative 2x squared, you have a negative 5x squared, and then you have a 4 and a 2. And when you gather all your like terms, you should end up with, usually separated by, you should get 3 terms left over. I'm going to tell you, actually no, I lied. You should get 2 terms left over, and I'll let you figure that one out. Something plus something else, okay? And then what is the coefficient of x in your answer? The coefficient is the number in front of your x. So for example, if you have, I don't know, 10x plus 3, right? 10 is your coefficient because it is the number in front of the x. If you have 1/2 x minus 4, right? 1/2 is your coefficient. If you have 3x to the third plus 5, right? 3 is going to be your coefficient. All right? So it's the number in front. So once you clean this up, what's the actual coefficient in front of your x term? Okay, so that was the homework for today. That was 15 minutes, so hopefully I didn't go too fast. If you need to, please feel free to go back. And otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.